Hello there everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Joesephyr and I play a red mage in Final Fantasy XIV whose nickname is Res Dispenser. Welcome to this episode of Should You Pull for Dissidia Final Fantasy Opera Omnia that was continuing on from part 1 of this video that was dedicated to Ardyn and Maria and characters that came out with the story chapter itself. But I was under the impression that Rinoa was going to be released at the same time as the story event, and it turns out that it's not. It's going to be released next Tuesday/Wednesday, depending on where you are in the world, alongside the raid that is hopefully going to give us a buttload of resources that I'm going to need because I've just had to clean my resources out yet again for Ardyn's LD because the game apparently hates me at the moment. So if you guys want to hear more about Rinoa's LD and the raid itself and what we're hoping to expect from it, then stay tuned and keep on watching. As always guys, don't forget to check out all of the social links in the description box below, including Twitter, Twitch, Discord and Patreon. On Twitch this week, I've just finished doing Ardyn's story chapter, and lots of people came and watched me fail to pull on yet another LD, which is kind of sad, but we managed to get there eventually, 180 G tokens later and 200 tickets. Painful, the game is hating me recently, but hopefully it'll all turn around in the near future, Kuja. And we'll also be streaming when Rinoa's raid comes around, so you guys can come and watch me play on that. I'm also doing streams for Street Fighter V, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, Final Fantasy IX this weekend, and Final Fantasy XIV, so definitely click on that if you want to come and watch me playing some of these games. On Patreon, I always give a shout out to one of my patrons at random to give thanks to each and every one of you that decides to further their support for this channel, and today that person is going to be Rossum, so thank you very much for your support. I actually have a nice little plan for my Patreon going forward that I think is going to be really nice for getting people a bit more involved in the video, so keep an eye out for that as well. Don't forget to check out all of the links according to available for Opera Omnia, as you can see just around me here and in the description box below, and of course don't forget to check out all the other content creators besides myself. So let's start off by taking a look at Rinoa herself and what her rework and what her LD brings to what she needed and what she already had. Now Rinoa actually gets a really nice rework here. The primary focus of what her LD and her rework gives her is more focused on Angelo and Angelo Cannon than it is on Angel Wing. So if you've used Rinoa before, Angel Wing basically just sent her into a mode where her HP plus was really powerful, certainly back at the time where she was first released. And then her EX plus came out and then it was a little bit lackluster. It was okay, but it wasn't really worth the ingots at the time. Whereas Angelo Cannon, you honestly used as like a cooldown period to then be able to use her EX and just use Angel Wing again. You never really wanted to be in Angelo mode. However, this changes quite a great deal with the rework and LD that she gets. Angelo Cannon itself gets more bravery hits. It now heals the party instead of just herself. It now, with Angelo Recover, which is the mode where she has Angelo, has an aura for her allies to gain max bravery and attack. And now her HP plus has a party battery, including herself, based on how much HP damage that she deals with it, which is great. It's all a much more support-focused role than it was before. She always had little bits of support, but never quite as much as she does now. Angel Wing gets a much bigger hit count on its stuff, so the Bravery attack transforms into an 8-hit single-target Brave HP attack that refunds Bravery on Rinoa, so similar to how Alpha Nose works with Sick Obsidian. And then the HP plus Angel Wing it goes to 6 hits, but that one actually has splash damage, which makes it just really good for just dishing damage out. So she'll still burn HP with Angel Wing, and she'll still gain HP back through Angelo, but the roles themselves are much more defined than they were to begin with. And then, like I said, Cardinal, which is a LD weapon, is much more focused on Angelo than it is on Angel Wing. So her EX is focused on Angel Wing, and then her LD is focused on Angelo. So Wishing Star is a large, heavy-hitting, Brave HP attack with splash damage that has a decent amount of Brave Overflow. It dispels Angel Wing and gives her Angelo Recover, just as her EX would do the reverse and dispel Angelo Recover and give her Angel Wing. But it also gives her a new buff called Angelo's Warmth, which is raises her magic attack, so that's separate from your attack. So raising your attack is like an all-purpose thing, whereas raising physical / range / magical attack is specific to that. So they stack on top of each other, which is great. She gets more Brave Overflow on everything that she does, and she also gets Party Brave and HP on everything that she gets. And the other thing is that while Angelo's Warmth is active, all of her attacks become magic attacks. This is actually kind of nice for Rinoa, because Rinoa's stuff, like her Angel Wing attacks were all magic and her Angelo attacks were all range. So she kind of like was split down the middle, and that's never great for a lot of characters because you kind of know when you want to bring a character what you're bringing them to. So if an enemy resists either ranged or magic, then it was a bit of a problem for Rinoa. That's no longer the case because now all of her Angelo attacks are considered magic attacks. With all of the Power Stones that you give her, she starts with Angelo Recover, which means you don't have to use an Angelo Cannon in order to have that, so she can start by just using her support-based Brave and HP attacks if you want to. You don't have to go straight in with Wishing Star off the bat if you don't want to. And then you get an extended duration for Angelo's Warmth, so it extends to 16 turns, which is actually really good. But do consider the fact that Angel Wing doesn't take a turn, is an instant turn, so that will eat into the turns of Angelo's Warmth if you're not careful. And then you get Wishing Star use +1. So she has 3 uses of Wishing Star. Angelo's Warmth, I believe, actually carries over as well to if you have Angel Wing present, where Angelo Recover doesn't. So it means that you're still going to have that extra magic attack, Brave Overflow, and the party healing, the party regens at the same time. So you can still go into those modes and still have all those nice buffs. Do forgive me if I'm wrong on that. I'm fairly sure that that's true, but I am only human, so do correct me if I'm wrong. Her EX, I mean, the problem her EX had before was that, like, when it first came out, it was busted, and then the second time around, it was fine, but it was in an era where there were a lot of really powerful characters coming around at the same time as Rinoa's EX+, so it wasn't really that great. But as part of a full kit, it's actually really nice. You start with the EX gauge maxed out at 3 out of 3, which means you have options on whether you want to start with going straight into Angel Wing, which is going to be preferable for a lot of people because you want that recast gauge going around as much as you can. And then you also get an extra buff called Surging Power, which is Brave Regen and Initial Bravery up. Then she starts with all of her stuff, and she gets an Angelo version of Angel Wing Meteor, which then gives her this buff. So all in all, her kit sort of comes full circle, and it all definitely integrates with itself a lot better than it originally did. So she's definitely a powerful magic damage dealer. She's a really powerful magic damage dealer. We do have other magic damage dealers coming forward. We've got Kefka coming up soon. We'll have Kuja coming up not long after that. We've got Edward, who's a magic damage dealer / support character. So Rinoa is a great character, and if you've been looking for a reason to pull her out of the closet once again, like if you haven't used Rinoa in a long time and you want a reason to, then her LD is going to be really good for that. So now let's talk about the raid event that's going to be coming along with Rinoa's banner, which should be next Tuesday or Wednesday. There was some confusion over whether this raid would appear alongside the story chapter, which is why I've waited until now to release this video talking about Rinoa, which is actually probably a bit early to be talking about Rinoa given that it's not coming out for 4 or 5 days until after this video releases. But I wanted to kind of clear up that they are separate things. However, the characters that are synergy within the story chapter, so Ardyn, Maria, Lilacet, should also be synergy for this particular event as well. So you've got those 3, and you've also got the characters from the synergy here. So you've got Noel, you've got Alphino, oh not Noel, you've got Alphino, you've got Kane, sorry, and then you've got Rinoa herself, and then obviously Ardyn. They're all going to be a sort of synergy for this, and you're going to want to take a synergy character to this because it's going to be revolved around a raid, so a chaos co-op, that if going off of what JP had, if it's completed 30 times on your account with full synergy across the board, you can earn some insane amounts of stuff, including up to 300 tickets. So if you're gonna bring anybody, bring a synergy character if you can. However, when it comes to the chaos on the actual fight itself, you know, if you wanted to bring other characters just for the sake of doing so, then just bring your strongest characters, honestly. So I've given examples here, so like Barsh, Leon, Desh, Noctis, Garnet, Nine, Markina, Shantotto, but it's not restricted to those. Basically, you're going to be fighting 2 versions of this fight. Both of them will have the Planesgorger in it, which we've seen many, many times before, and the only thing you really have to worry about with the Planesgorger is the fact that it has moves that can't be evaded, and it has moves that dispel your buffs. So you just want to be careful of that, and if it breaks you, it gets faster, as do a lot of bosses, but in terms of actual boss fights, it's actually relatively simplistic. The reason that there's 2 versions of it is because there's one that comes with Exdeath, and there's one that comes with Sephiroth. The Chaos Challenge comes with Sephiroth. So basically, you want to just be cautious of the kinds of things that they're going to do. If Sephiroth has all as his next target, dump your bravery as soon as you can, because he's going to use black materia and put everyone to 1. If you're against Exdeath and he's got all in his sights, then dump your bravery, because he's going to use Grand Cross, steal all your bravery, and then throw it back at you as an HP attack. So just be cautious of those things. Honestly, finding information for this particular raid I actually found very difficult, because it was a New Year's raid for Opera Omnia in Japan, so it was kind of a celebratory thing for the fact that it was New Year, whereas we're getting it in September, so it's all a little bit up in the air, or right at the end of September, early October, as to when things are coming and how they're being distributed. But hopefully, if we do get things the same way that JP had them, we should be able to get an absolutely gargantuan amount of rewards, and Lord knows I need them with the amount of bad luck I've had recently, and I'm sure I'm not alone in that front. So honestly, just pick up one of the synergy characters, because a lot of them are very good. Maria is really good right now. If you already have Alphino available, fantastic. He's going to be really good for this, because the healing is going to be really important, because both Sephiroth and Exdeath like to throw out HP attacks. With Sephiroth in particular, do be cautious of Octoslash, because he can just kill one of your characters out of nowhere. Unless, of course, it's Ardyn. And then the Planesgorger is just there to kind of just be irritating and like take your buffs away, use these horrible brave HP attacks that come out of nowhere. But with the amount of healing that you have available in Synergy and even out of it, then it's not a fight you should find difficult, particularly seeing as you're meant to do it as a co-op thing primarily. So you're going to have 3 summons. If people are taking Ardyn, that's going to be multiple bursts on the line. It's not going to be so much difficult as it is time consuming. So now we come along to the big question of the video: should you pull on Rinoa's banner? Now, I actually think that this is a really well-rounded banner, given the banner mates that she has. I mean, Kain was released early for us, so obviously we've already covered Kain, and we've already had the debacle as to whether we think Kain is amazing or not. But Kain is still a solid damage dealer. He's not game-breaking, and I will maintain that until the day I die, but I think that he's still solid. If you don't have other sort of range damage dealers, Dragoon-style characters that have like repeatable launches in their EX and sort of decent at damaging attacks, then he's still going to do you really well. Alphino is still great for his longevity and the fact that he has these amazing support auras, and Rinoa is actually very good. Like, if she's very much a jack of all trades. She has healing, she has batteries, she's got decent magic damage. She's not as heavy damage as she once was, but she still certainly does damage well enough. And then if you wanted a place to pick up Ardyn's burst and you already had his LD and his EX and everything, you're in a position like me where like I don't really want to go back into his banner just to get his burst, then this is a nice banner for you to go back on. And if we're getting all of these massive amounts of resources from this raid, as we should do depending on what JP had, then we should have plenty of resources to be able to throw around with it. However, I think that some people, myself included, because I've been burned quite a lot recently, this is probably a safe banner for me to skip, because I have magic damage dealers. I have Shantotto's LD, I have Varn's LD. You know, if I had other characters, there's other characters I'm looking forward to in the future that are really strong damage dealers with magic and also have support capabilities. Edward is actually coming out in a couple of weeks and is a character I'm personally very excited for. He actually does a surprising amount of damage considering his support role, and he actually functions relatively... In terms of like what his roles are, he functions relatively similarly to Rinoa, and I kind of prefer the way that he works with his sleep debuff and the auras that he provides and the healing and batteries. I find to be a bit more straightforward than Rinoa's, so I'd probably wait for him if in my position. However, some people will probably prefer to go for Rinoa than Edward because her damage is slightly higher, her healing is slightly more efficient, and her longevity does last for a very long time if you use her HP and bravery attacks properly. That being said, if you need to recover from Noctis and Ardyn, like you've been onslaughted by like just banner after banner after banner of really bad luck, or you've had a portion of time where you've just got these amazing characters but you need a breather, then maybe taking the opportunity to just grab all those resources from this event and just like hold on to them for dear life, that may not be a bad thing either. So while I think that Rinoa is extremely good, she's very well rounded, she'll fit into practically any team that wants a magic damage dealer / support character, I don't think that she stands out that much for an extended period of time. Like for now, for the next month, 2 months, she's going to be incredible, but later down the line when other magic damage dealers start coming out, so you know, characters like Kuja, they'll come around and they'll kind of replace her or at least want to stand alongside her. So skipping her isn't that bad. Like, she's great, but unfortunately you could say the same about every banner that comes out these days. They're great, but you need some time where you need to recuperate resources, and for me personally, I think that this is one of those times. So that's going to be it for today's Should You Pull video. I apologise in advance as well if you were confused about when Rinoa was coming out, when Ardyn was coming out, whether they were coming out at the same time, what events were coming out with them, because quite honestly I was confused too, and it took me a little while to kind of get my head around exactly what was coming with what and who was going with what. It was just a bit of a mess. So hopefully this has cleared it all up for you a little bit. Let me know in the comments below if you plan on pulling for Rinoa or for Alphino or any of the other EXs that are coming along on this banner. And I did want to quickly say as well, thank you very much for the really lovely comments that a lot of you guys left on my last video. It was a horrible week, if I'm honest, and just a horrible week, but that really did sort of lift my spirits quite a lot, and you guys don't understand how much that actually means to me. So thank you all very much for reaching out, sending me messages, direct messages over Facebook, Twitter, or like just coming to the streams and just showing support for a pretty horrible experience. So just thank you very much for that. Anyways, don't forget to like and subscribe and share and click the bell for notification. You know how it all works with YouTubers and stuff. You don't need me to tell you again. So I shall see you guys in the next stream or the next video. So thank you all very much for coming, and I'll see you guys soon. Take care.